Hello, 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 and welcome back to the AI First Leadership channel. Certainly glad that you're here and hope you get some good information and insights that you can use in adopting AI in your own world. Today, I wanted to talk about the single most popular topic that is in my presentations that I give. It's in my book, AI Without the BS, the CEO's Playbook for Actually Getting AI Right. And it's also in all of the presentations I've been giving around the country, mostly to CEOs as well as to some leadership teams. And that topic or that roadmap is the Brett's No BS roadmap for optimal AI adoption. And I think that this is one of the slides that's the most popular. And the reason why I know that is because when I put this slide up, all of the phones come out and everybody takes a picture of it. Also, it's where the most questions get asked in my workshops. So I thought I'd go ahead and share it with you today and hope that you can take an opportunity to really enjoy this and have some fun with it. So let's dive into this no BS roadmap. And by the way, if you like this roadmap, I will go into each of these in much more detail in more videos as time goes on. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like this. And if you get to the end of it and say, this might add some value if I check this out every once in a while. So let's dive into this roadmap, shall we? So the first thing that I ask people to do as a CEO or a business leader is simply set the tone. CEOs, for some reason, have not done a great job of having an open and honest conversation about the use of AI within their companies. They just haven't. And so what happens is people are still afraid to talk about them using AI in their own discipline, in their own job, in their own effectiveness. And so what winds up happening is the employees feel like they're doing something in secret, like that they are scared to let anyone know about. And the CEOs aren't really seeing the impact that AI is having on their organization. And so those two don't match. But when I've come in to work with companies, and I've talked to them about their AI adoption. And the first thing I do is go around and ask the employees about what they're doing and how they're doing it. It seems like they're very scared to admit that they're actually using AI. So the first thing I tell CEOs to do is whether you want to go in all in on AI adoption, or you want to take a cautious approach, or you want to sit back and watch, you just absolutely positively have to set that tone with the company so everyone knows the page that you're singing from and that they can all follow along. The second thing is to build your plan. Now, it seems kind of ridiculous to have a number 2 of build your plan in a roadmap, which is actually the plan. But here's the deal. If you don't have a plan in action and somebody to lead the execution of that plan, whether it might be an individual or it might be some type of steering committee or some type of center of excellence, then a lot of these AI projects are going to be piecemealed and they're not going to be aligned to help you reach the strategic goals of your business, whether that's growth, efficiency, optimization, speed, scale, transparency, whatever it might be. It's really important that you not only have the plan, but the people in place who are going to help lead the execution of that plan for you. The third thing on the roadmap, build a playground. So one of the things that I think is very important in 2025 and into the early part of 2026 is how much we need to train our AI models or our LLMs. And we want to have the ability to train the models correctly, but also have a safe space to do a lot of experimentation, a lot of messing around, and a ton of messing up. Excuse me. So I think it's incredibly important to have a playground. Now, I'll get a lot of question of how do you put a playground together? And one of the easiest ways I have thought about doing this is, let's assume that most of you are on either a Microsoft 365 environment or a Google Workspace environment. And if you're using 365, you might be using Copilot. And think of that as your production environment where the training has to be accurate, the sources of the data have to be accurate, and you want to give it as much insights about your company accurately as possible. Or if you're on Google Workspace, Gemini is a great place to train it and give it access to all the files and all the systems that the Gemini needs with accurate information. But then you've got a playground. And so for me, I suggest ChatGPT, not being connected to the other systems, is a great place to do a lot of experimentation, to test out prompting, to try some agents, to try to find out what kind of automations could really help your business out. So building that playground is really important, and giving people the freedom to try things out and make mistakes in a sealed off staging environment, for lack of a better term, while the production environment, a la, Copilot or Gemini, is where you have the real information. So you're not putting garbage in and getting garbage out. You're training it correctly. Number 4, embrace agility. So one of the things that I think is really important, especially the companies I talk to that are in manufacturing, in operations, in consumer packaged goods, and in retail, they have a lot of consistency, and any change can really disrupt a lot of business in a good way and then mostly in a bad way. But in order to embrace agility, try to find ways to get your employees to experiment with new things, new tools, new tricks. I saw a stat the other day that over 2,000 new software applications are brought to market every month that have some kind of strong AI first approach. And that's insane. There's no way we'll be able to get to, adopting any of these things at scale. But if you embrace agility from the perspective of looking at how to do things incrementally better, incrementally stronger, incrementally faster, and build a team, whether it's a center of excellence or a steering committee, to look at all the different systems in a company to see how you can just make things a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, I think you'll be heading in the right direction. Then we get to leveraging the speed of innovation. This is my favorite part. When I work with CEOs and leadership team members of, let's just call it middle America, of the non-technical companies or non-technology oriented companies, one of the things I tell them is you don't have to create a massive AI program in your company. All you need to do is apply pressure to the existing applications you're using, your CRM, your ERP, your operational system, your project management system, all these different systems you already have in place. Go ahead and push through and get those systems to start to adopt AI. Let those systems do a lot of the AI work so you don't have to. I call that the scrubbing bubbles of AI. Get them to do the work so you don't have to. Then it gets into some important stuff in our roadmap here, and we stop at number 6, which is the AI values and ethics. I'm assuming that a lot of you as CEOs or business leaders, you know your company's core values. You may have signs within your office and within your conference rooms and within your lobby and within the hallways that show what your values and ethics are. And I bet that a lot of the employees try to follow that pretty closely, which might make them better employees for your company. What if you uploaded that list of values, the core values or the things that you believe in, into your own LLM, whether it's Copilot, ChatGPT, or Gemini, and told it what your values were as a company, so that when it tries to automate things, if you get into the AI agent world, or if you try to just make things a little bit better with using, intelligent prompting, if the system knows what your values and the ethics are of the company, it will do a much better job in helping you get to that next level of automation. The next thing on our roadmap, start training your generative AI systems now. I believe that we have a short window, let's call it 12 to 18 months from now, that we'll be in a place where we can continue to train our AI models before we actually begin to truly rely on them and lean on them as a core business practice. And the more you train those systems now, the more likeliness you have success and rolling them out with new initiatives as time goes on. So start training that Gen AI system now. The next thing, and I think this is insanely important, is find those Generation AI employees right now. Let me tell you a little bit about who a Generation AI employee is, and also how you can find them and how you can't find them. You see, I found that the companies who really are doubling down on AI, they're finding one or two insanely scrappy people who have been using generative AI since the very beginning of it coming out with ChatGPT and the world being introduced to the world of LLMs and generative AI. And they know how to do something better than anybody else. They know how to prompt. They know how to ask questions. They know how to go from point A to point Z in the most direct manner without having to figure out your industry or study your customers or learn about the nuances that you have in your business. You see, these employees, this Generation AI set of employees, they're hackers. They know how to get problems solved. They know how to use generative AI tools to the utmost maximum advantage. And hopefully they're using that advantage of information towards powers of good for you versus your competitors getting somebody. So this team of Generation AI employees, which I do believe is the next big wave of AI first employees, they probably haven't gone to college. They probably started using generative AI early on and decided that they could get a lot more done with using that as a system versus going to college. They probably may not come from your industry. In fact, it might be a real asset that they look at things from outside the industry lens. They know how to use these generative AI tools insanely well, and they're going to help you scale up your business or speed up your business or accelerate your business in a way that you probably haven't seen before. Now, finding Generation AI employees, that's the interesting part. You're not going to find them on LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter or Indeed or any of those typical job boards, because those job boards are filled with so much automated responses of people who aren't doing the next big thing. You're probably going to find them on TikTok or on Instagram, or they're really leading the conversation in Reddit channels. They'll never want to come to an office. They will want to bury their head in a computer and spend all day using ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or some of the other AI models. They have a potential to really accelerate the speed of your business overnight. And it's not going to be easy to find them, but when you do, you're going to scale up. The next one is a simple one, but so important right now. We keep hearing about these AI models that are hallucinating. Now they're getting better, but they're still hallucinating. We hear about the new models, like, for example, ChatGPT 5, that seems to not really get it quite right when it comes to customer service or responding to emails. ChatGPT 5, it was supposed to automatically choose the models for you, so you don't have to choose the specific models. I think there's some issues with the models it chooses to utilize for whatever project or task you're working on. And I think there's a lot of errors. But the moral of the story is, don't feel like you have to automate everything yet. Let generative AI draft that email, but you need to take a look at it before you send it. Let it put together some really extensive reports and reporting for you that can help you in a game-changing way. But take a look at those reports and read them thoroughly before you send anything out to your board of directors or your investors or your employees or your customers. Do not let the system make decisions without a human taking a look at things. We're doing great with AI. We're doing great with the intelligence of it, but there are always little problems that could make you look bad. Make sure you're looking at things, you're reviewing things, you're becoming the ultimate copy editor instead of the copywriter. Doing that will save you a ton of embarrassment, and it will eliminate a lot of potential mistakes and give you places where you need to double down on your training of your generative AI or your LLM models for your company. And the last one, it's going to sound like a scare tactic, and it's not meant to create a lot of fear. But I do think that there's going to be a point where AI is making some big mistakes. It could be a new version of something that's pushed out that is wrong and hallucinates like crazy. It could be something that's pushed out and shuts down systems for a matter of hours or days. Heck, this even happened about a year ago with CrowdStrike pushing out an update that broke systems of airlines, major airlines, and it broke systems of banks where people couldn't log in to check their accounts or move money around. And it only lasted for maybe a day, but it created such chaos. And then specifically to AI, about 2 weeks ago, Copilot went down for a couple of hours. And I remember that because I use Copilot quite extensively. And I twiddled my thumbs wondering how I was going to get my work done without Copilot. So I think we're going to get to a point, especially where a lot of these primary LLMs are embedded into the infrastructure of a lot of other applications, that if one of them goes down, it's going to cause a lot of problems. I don't think it's going to take down the entire internet. I don't think it's going to pull a page from the script of Fight Club and take down all of the credit systems to reset the entire credit system of the world. I don't think it's going to be nefarious stuff, but sometimes shit just breaks and you need to have a disaster plan. And the easiest way to do things is have a list of everywhere that you're using AI, whether it's in your own systems or the third-party systems and software that you might be using within your company. Having that disaster plan will save you when little things go wrong, to make sure that you're pointing in the right direction and you know how deep or how big the impact of some kind of outage could be. So those are the 10 things in my no BS roadmap for optimal AI adoption. I hope that you like it. I would love you to share comments or thoughts about things that you agree with in this roadmap, things that you disagree with this roadmap. It has been revised several times. This one seems to be sticking really well. And as I go through working with companies and helping them deploy an AI first strategy, this is the roadmap I use. And it seems to really hit all of the major points. So again, thank you for your time. Hopefully this was, not too long, not too short, but just right. A lot of these concepts are in my book, AI Without the BS, the CEO's Playbook for actually getting AI right. And if you like this content, then go ahead and subscribe and follow and hit all the buttons and the things that make subscriptions possible. Not because I need it, but because I think that you could really benefit from some of the information that I am sharing, that comes from me going out and talking to what's now over 1,246 CEOs and leadership teams I've talked to over the last 18 months since I really started this journey. If there's other content you want to see, want to hear, put that in the comments as well, or send me a note to brett@aifirstleadership.com. Love to hear it. Love to share ideas or experiences I've got based on the conversations I've had. And finally, and most importantly, I hope you have a very AI-tastic day as you work to AIify your business to infinity and beyond. Thank you.